Today, it's part 2 of our Jeep YJ transformation. We're talking about a 350 V8 powered, 37-inch tall tired, 8-inch lifted crawler that'll have more than 13 inches of ground clearance. First, we'll install a suspension lift with the architecture of a skyscraper. Then, we'll add some rubber-soled platform shoes for real altitude. It's all here today on Trucks.
Hey, welcome to Trucks. As you can see, we're back on our YJ project, transforming this 87 Jeep into a capable on- and off-road vehicle, like a Jeep should be. Now, last time you saw us, we yanked out this lame and toasted inline 6 that had definitely seen better days.
And we replaced it with his rebuilt 350 small block, topped off with an Edelbrock ProFlow EFI. But we didn't get this engine from a crate. It started with a worn-out 350 we grabbed from a junkyard. With a lot of cleaning, honing, and prepping, the block was ready for some fresh rings and bearings, a set of Vortec heads, and finally, an EFI manifold. Then we bolted up a turbo 350 four-wheel drive transmission that we picked up from our local parts store and dropped it in between the frame rails with a V8 swap kit from four-wheel drive hardware. Then we fired it up. Now, one thing we didn't do was install the Jeep's NP231 transfer case up to the transmission adapter. That's because we knew we'd be installing this slip yoke eliminator kit into the T-case today.
With our power taken care of, now it's time to take a look at this suspension. Our YJ has leaf springs at all 4 corners, much like the CJ before it, and this suspension is now considered to be out of date, which is another reason why guys tend to shy away from this model Jeep. Well, Fabtech Motorsports recognized this drawback and decided to help out YJ owners everywhere. And they've just released this suspension system that is not only going to give us the lift we want for the larger wheels and tires we want to run on our Jeep, but it also upgrades our front suspension to a coilover system. With a total lift of 8 inches, Fabtech's crawler front coilover conversion starts with 2¼ inch Dirt Logic shocks with dual rate coil springs and includes shock hoops to replace the original shock mounts. You also get front links, frame pockets, and heavy-duty upper axle mount supports. Now, to get our lift out back, we're going to do a spring over axle conversion with these new leaf springs, high lift shackles, and a rear traction bar. But before any of this new stuff can go on, that old suspension has got to come off. 90% of the original system is being replaced, but parts of the drag link are reused with the Fabtech kit. We'll also say goodbye to these stock upper shock mounts. To do this, we'll cut them off and then grind the frame rail smooth, followed with a touch of paint to stop the rust.
All right, with all that done, now we can install our new link arm pockets to the frame. These go in 14 inches back of the original leaf spring rear mounts.
The frame on our YJ is boxed from the factory, but the suspension system comes with crush sleeves to insert at all the new mounting points for added strength. This front leaf spring perch needs to be trimmed in order for our new axle brackets to be mounted in place. Now, our YJ has a Dana 30 up front and a Dana 35 out back. And I know you Jeep guys out there are thinking, big V8, lots of power, heavy lift kit, big wheels and tires, something's going to break. You're probably right. But the good thing about this Fabtech lift system is that you can always upgrade your axles down the road. But that's another show. And that is what makes this suspension system so unique. If down the road you want to swap out the front axle assembly for a Dana 44 or even a Dana 60, Fabtech will have axle bracket packages available for those assemblies.
With both the driver and passenger axle support mounts sandwiched on the axle, we can install our lower links into the frame.
Leave your final tightening until all the parts are installed. Then, when your truck is sitting on its own weight, you can torque all the hardware to specs. Urethane bushings squeak uncontrollably without lubrication. Fabtech thought this through and provides Zerk fittings at all suspension pivot points.
Then the upper links mount from the midpoint of the lower links to the top of the axle.
Okay, with our links in place, now we can mount these upper shock hoops, which will house our coilovers. If you guys are building a Jeep like ours at home, here's a problem that you could run into, because this support indexes off of the location of the factory motor mount. And if you remember, when we converted to V8 power, we had to cut off our factory motor mounts. So how do you find the location of the shock hoops? Sometimes you just got to think your way through the problems.
And what helps us here is some of the original engine mount bracket is still visible on the frame. That serves as a guide to locate our new shock hoop. But if we didn't have this to go by, we could raise the axle to ride height, drop a plumb bob from the upper mount to the lower, and that would also help us locate this hoop. Just goes to show you, there's always solutions to the problems you face. See you after the break.
When we come back, we'll finish up the front end suspension lift on our YJ. Stick around.
Hey, thanks for sticking around the truck shop. As you can see, we are right in the middle of bringing our Jeep back to its rightful place. A true on-road, off-road vehicle that'll be able to handle just about anything we throw at it. So far today, we've dumped the stock suspension pieces and added our new control arms to the front axle. Then, by using the old motor mounts as a guide, we bolted on our new shock hoops.
And now, it's time for the good stuff. With our front links on and our shock hoop in place, it's time to mount our dual rate coilover.
Having a dual rate coilover on the front suspension adds a couple of benefits for our Jeep. The lower spring is often referred to as the tender spring and will absorb slow speed bumps and also help our suspension droop. The upper mainspring is of a higher rate and will support most of the Jeep's weight, and if the front axle should ever get off the ground, it'll keep the suspension from bottoming out. The remote reservoir helps keep the oil cool and keeps it from foaming, and that makes for consistent performance from our shock. We're going with 37-inch tall tires with this Jeep, so to keep them out of our fenders, our bump stops are mounted here so they come into contact with this flat spot on the upper axle mounting plate. Now, our front suspension is basically a radius arm setup with the lower links as the main support and the upper link bars coming off the lowers. Now, this setup does require another link to locate our axle under the Jeep, and this panhard line brackets that are mounted 8 inches ahead of the shock hoop rear mount and come with extra long braided steel lines. The last thing you want to let you down is your braking system, so bleed out your system thoroughly before you hit the trails. Well, that takes care of the front of the suspension system. When we come back from the break, we'll show you how to get a few quick, easy inches of lift out back. Stay with us.
Next, we'll get the back half of our Jeep up in the air. And later, we'll beef up our transfer case.
Hey guys, welcome back. With our front end done, our Jeep is looking more and more like it belongs on the trail, instead of just sitting at the mall parking lot.
Out back, we'll do a pretty easy upgrade, but a pretty typical upgrade for a straight axle, a spring-over axle conversion. The factory puts the leaf springs underneath the axle. We're just going to reverse that and put the axle underneath the leaf springs, but we're replacing these springs with some heavy-duty units that'll handle the stress of our lift kit and our larger wheels and tires. One of the good things about replacing your suspension is that it forces you to inspect under your rig. We found bent springs, dented shocks, worn bushings, and stripped bolts. Now, if you're just doing a spring-over conversion with your stock springs, make sure they're parts you can trust out on the trail. The combination of our new shackles and heavy-duty springs will give us a lift of 8 inches to match the front, and these new mounting perches kick the pinion up to the correct angle for our new CV drive shaft that comes with the kit.
Just like the brakes up front, you're provided with a longer braided flex line to handle our rear axle's newfound articulation potential.
The kit's traction bar bracket is located by a bolt in the old Panhard bar mount and gets welded to the axle.
The old shock mounts no longer serve a purpose, so they need to go away. The new shocks hang off the factory studs and their tabs are also welded right on the axle. Just weld a little at a time so you don't distort the axle tube.
This crossmember's main job is to mount the traction bar, but it also gives an added benefit of strengthening the rear frame. If you're doing a spring over axle conversion at home, keep in mind that it can actually make your axle wrap a little harder. But FabTech has taken care of that with this traction bar that will eliminate axle wrap, but by using heim joints and a shackle, will still allow for articulation.
You'll have to relocate the driver's side e-brake cable by drilling a new hole lower in the bracket.
I don't think so. With 8 inches of lift and a bulletproof suspension, there's no way we're going to put these stock wheels and tires back on. So, when we come back from the break, we're going to show you what we got planned for new wheels and tires that are going to match the new stance of our YJ. Stick around.
After the break, we'll get our new hides on and install a slip yoke eliminator kit.
Hey, welcome back. With our newfound V8 power and increased altitude, we had to find a set of skins that would do our Jeep justice. So we chose a set of 37 by 12.5 by 17 Pro Comp mud terrains. The 37-inch tires become the new standard in off-road tire sizes, and the mud terrain is a great on- and off-road tire with a close body tread in the center for on-road driving, yet a high void ratio on the outside edges for great off-road traction.
We mounted them on a set of Pro Comp 17 by 9-inch wheels. We chose steel wheels without bead locks to keep our Jeep street legal. But in the future, if we want to make this Jeep a trail-only vehicle, we'll break down this set of tires and wheels and add a set of weld-on bead locks.
The 17-inch wheel and 37-inch tire work well together off-road thanks to the flotation you get in the sidewall. The 10-inch tall sidewall will hold its speed on the rim but still contour to the terrain when aired down. When choosing a suspension system, you need to read the footnotes and find out what kind of extra work you're going to have to do. In our case, we needed to add a slip yoke eliminator kit to our transfer case. Now, both our kit and our new rear drive shaft came from FabTech and are specifically designed to work with our new suspension system.
A slip yoke kit is designed to take the slip travel from the transfer case output shaft and move it to the rear drive shaft. This reduces the possibility of the drive shaft becoming disconnected during extreme articulation and also adds a few needed inches to our rear drive shaft length.
After the T-case is disassembled and the drive gear and mode hub are removed from the stock main shaft, you'll need to drive out the needle bearings.
The kit comes with a new heavy-duty main shaft that the drive gear is installed onto. Discard the factory snap ring off the mode hub and use a new one that comes with the kit. The main shaft goes back into the front case half. Make sure to line up the synchro on the selector ring. You'll want to replace the rubber spline seal on the front and rear of both output shafts.
Apply a thin bead of RTV sealant. These are machined mating surfaces, and any excess sealant could come loose inside the case. The speedometer drive gear goes on and is held in place with a new snap ring. You may need to trim some of the shift rail off before installing the kit's new tail housing.
The stock speedo gear then drops into the new housing. Then the new yoke goes on the rear output shaft. After checking for clearance, we'll seal off the shift rail pocket with a supplied plug. Finally, the stock front yoke can be reinstalled.
There are a lot of great reasons to put in a slip yoke eliminator kit, mainly to add length to the drive shaft to compensate for lifted suspension. That added length will also keep our drive shaft from pulling apart during extreme suspension flex. Also, should a drive shaft or U-joint ever give up out on the trail, you can remove it without losing any transfer case fluid. The last step in our YJ buildup is to install our new drive shaft before getting her back down on the ground.
Now that's a great stance. But with over 300 horsepower on 37-inch tires, riding on lightweight Dana 30 and 35 axles, well, let's just say we all know what the weak link is now.
Yeah, and the next time you guys see this Jeep, we're going to take it out and see just how much abuse those axles will take. But if you're not breaking stuff, you don't have your foot in it deep enough.
You got that right.
When I'm building one of my own vehicles or looking at somebody else's, I pay attention to details. Now, everybody has their own taste when it comes to finishing out a project, but nobody can deny a clean-looking ride. And a set of these pedal covers from Moto Innovations can dress up the controls of any vehicle. They're a direct mount with screws through the pedal instead of clamping around it like some universal kits, and have a two-piece inner and outer. The inner covers the factory control, while the outer has a brushed finish and this non-skid surface on the brake pedal. The Moto Innovations pedal set goes for about $129 and is available directly from their website. Thanks for watching Trucks. We'll see you next week.